I knew it wasn't something to celebrate, but we celebrated anyway. Tom was delighted when he found out that the exams were cancelled. He yelled so loudly I thought he'd set fire to his bedspread. Well, he's always smoking up there. I know, but I don't say anything. Pick your battles, especially with a teenage son. My heart broke for him a little bit. Of course no one wants to do an exam, do they? But it's just one of those seminal moments in life, isn't it? One of the keystones, whether you did well or badly. I mean, I wasn't academic at school, but they certainly gave me focus. Even when I didn't bother working for them, they were still there. You wondered for what other reason you'd bother turning up otherwise. For better or for worse, they still led the day. Yes, if school were a prison, if school were a prison, your GCSE certificates were your parole card. Now he's just free-falling in a bubble of time. I mean, of course it's something that we've all wished for. Oh, if only I had more time to myself, if only I had, if only I could be alone for a few seconds. But have you ever spent a full day in a room with only yourself for company? Yes, it's more painful than it looks. I think when I was younger, silence always scared me a bit. It spoke a kind of truth. That I wasn't really fulfilled, and that I didn't really like the person who I'd become. I remember David Hare saying that when we left Europe, the reason we didn't feel good about it afterwards was because what we hadn't really realised was that we wanted to leave England. I feel like that in some way. I was always wanting to spend time by myself, but I don't actually like my own company. Tom hasn't felt that yet. He's still got God knows how many levels of Minecraft left, and after that, a couple of thousand soldiers animated to mow down. He has this really sinister glint in his eye. I was always telling him to go outside. This has completely undermined my parenting position, of course. There's Debbie. She's the hero mum. She's emailing round all sorts of homeschool materials. I mean, apparently, Brian Cox is teaching science, and TED Talks is publishing all sorts of homeschool materials. So there's Brian Cox, and there's Mary Berry. She's teaching cooking, of course. Look at me. I always thought I'd be some kind of Mary Poppins parent, but I put on one load of washing and I feel like I've given blood. felt on edge all week. At first, I did think it was the anxiety of everything that's going on. Even Debbie's been feeling the strain. She writes at the top of her emails, "I hope this email finds you well." Wow. Hasn't that sentiment taken on a renewed significance? But actually, I don't think that it's the virus. I feel selfish talking about it, really. I mean, you turn on the television, look at the news, and you see nurses and care workers, supermarket staff, delivery drivers putting themselves at risk every day, and the government puts a call out for volunteers and boom! Nearly 1 million people. They're saying, I'll take the risk, I'll put myself at risk. I had a look, but I don't drive. I could have put my name down, volunteered to call a vulnerable person in isolation. They'd probably feel worse after a conversation with me. Most people tend to feel worse after a conversation with me. I have tried to stay light and bubbly, but I just end up sounding like an automated test daily. I think I feel so low because what I've realised is my life isn't that different to how it was before. As a single parent living on the outskirts of Hertfordshire, I can go 10 days without seeing anyone. 10 days with just myself for company. And Tom, of course. But I don't know how to talk to a teenage boy. The game changed when he turned 15 and... I mean, no one thought to tell me the rules. I've been treading on eggshells ever since. Everyone on social media is talking about how much they miss going to the pub and going to restaurants with friends and the cafe trips, but you can't miss what you never did. I hesitated before putting my name down because, and I know I felt worse ever since, but if you put it all down on paper, if you put it all down on paper, the government wouldn't ask me to be calling someone. The government wouldn't ask me to call someone. They'd ask someone to call me.